My name's Angela. I do Picturebookpile on Twitter and Instagram, and I wanted to share with you some books from some small presses that maybe you don't know about, but you should. First up, Inhabit Media. It's a Canadian publisher, and they do books from the Inuit viewpoint, and these are often folk tales that have been passed down orally from teller to teller. And this one is The Origin of Day and Night, and title kind of explains what it's about, but I wanted you to look at the illustrations in this. So day, night, and the design of this book is just gorgeous. So look at the end pages. Night, day. So it starts out in the early times when there was no night or day, and it was just all dark. So this is just a beautiful book from Inhabit Media. Another one from them that I just love is The Owl and the Two Rabbits. This story is of Greedy Owl and how two little rabbits sort of trick the greedy owl. I love these stories. I love the way just the way these stories are resolved or not resolved. Sometimes you finish them and you're like, what happened? And then you have to read it again because it's such a good story. So again, that's Inhabit Media. Another publisher that you may not know about, another press, is Nube Ocho. And this one is I Love My Colorful Nails. It's about a story about a little boy who loves painting his fingernails different colors, but when he goes to school, he gets teased for it. It has a nice resolution because his class realizes that it's okay to be colorful and to paint your nails different colors. And they all embrace that and make him feel better about himself. Another one from Nube Ocho is Witchy Things. I love this one. Well, I like stories with witches in them, but I also love that this is a story of, it could be scary because it's a witch and she wants to eat children, but she meets a little boy who really likes to do hair, and she's got terrible hair. But he is able to do some marvelous things with her hair. I love the striped end pages that match her stripy witch socks. It's a really fun book. Perfect for October. Next up is a publisher, Karate Tales. That's Karadi. I may not be pronouncing it right. This one is The Clever Tailor. And if you know the story of the jacket that is made by the grandfather, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until there's nothing left but a story. This is a very similar kind of story. It's an Indian adaptation of a familiar European folktale. And it's just got these beautiful textures and fabrics, and just a nice way to maybe bring a different kind of culture in and compare it with the familiar story that maybe you already know. Next up, Gecko Press. If you don't know Gecko Press, you really should. They are doing some really, really fun things like Jump, this little board book. I love how it's such a simple concept. A grasshopper jumps, and then boing. So there's all these things that jump, and they jump up, and some of them don't jump. So it's just a great way to sort of introduce some animals to a preschooler or a toddler, but it's got just the art. I love the art in these books. Another one from Gecko Press is My Pictures After the Storm. It's so funny. It looks like a board book, but it's really one of those with, it's got the hard outer boards, but the pages are a little bit thinner than board book pages, but a little bit thicker than regular pages. So it's pictures that are things that come after. So this one is my pictures, and then my pictures after lunch. So you get the idea. It's like what an apple looks like before and what an apple looks like when you finish eating. But some of them are just really, really funny. And I think kids would have a great time just going through and looking at the details in this one. This is another one. I got two more from Gecko. This is The Visitor, and it's a story of a woman who lives by herself until a little boy moves in next door, and he starts to come visit. Her world is very gray until he comes to visit, and when this is a perfect example of the page. Her world is very gray, but she hears a knock on the door, and when she opens the door, color comes in because it's a little boy coming to visit, and he brings color into her world. And you know, she does some things for him too. They become really good friends. Then the last one from Gecko Press. This one is Aleph, and it's kind of an alphabet book, but it's also just it's called Your First Book. So it's not really an alphabet book, but it's a pictures book. But you could use it as an alphabet book, thinking about what these pictures start with. And it's just it's graphically beautiful. It's just, it's a nice book to just share and look at. It's wordless. It's fun to talk to kids with this book. Next up, one of my favorites, Lantana Press. And this is a story about Afia. It's a beautiful poem by James Barry and amazing illustrations by Anna Kunha. It's a story of a girl who has a white dress, and her white dress is, it's like a bird, it's like snow, and then when she goes through the world, the white dress gets things on it like flowers and butterflies, and it's such a gorgeous book. You really have to get your hands on this one. Another one from Lantana is I Am Brown, and it's just a celebration of the color brown. It would pair really nicely with another one that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. I also love from Lantana, they have these series of books from Chitra Soundar and Poonam Mistry. This one is You're Snug With Me. There's several in this, and the illustrations are just amazing, and the words are really fun. They're perfect for story time. It's great story time books. From Floris Books, I've got a couple here. I've got The Sand Elephant, which is a little boy sort of falls asleep while he's playing in the sandbox, and all of these different animals get made, and sand castles, and it's just a really beautiful book using your imagination. And then there's also, this is from Floris Books, this is The Little Pearl, and if you like mermaid stories, if you like sort of ethereal kind of adventure stories, this one is of a little girl who is going in search of her brother who has gone missing. So, really beautiful book. Okay, okay, so here's the one I was telling you would pair really, really well with I Am Brown, and this is Magnificent Homespun Brown, a celebration, and it truly is a celebration. This book is just joyful, the words are joyful, the pictures are joyful, and it's just all these shades of brown. Sort of, there's like a poem about the brown, and then the next page, like this one, Deep Secret Brown Like My Eyes. It's a celebration. It's a really good subtitle there from that one. And that is from Tilbury House. So I have a couple more books here. I've got from Child's Play, Keith Among the Pigeons. And so if you have ever felt like you are not quite what you're supposed to be or who you're supposed to be, then you will relate to Keith. Keith is a cat who doesn't really feel like a cat. He loves pigeons. He feels more like a pigeon. But the pigeons know that he's not a pigeon. They know he's a cat. But, you know, sometimes you can become whatever you want to become. Or you can at least try. And that's what Keith does. All right, last one is Cicada Books. And I have 2 books from them. This one is Born Bad. I thought it was going to be sort of a Red Riding Hood story, but it's more like if you just took the phrase "a wolf in sheep's clothing" and turned it into a picture book. The illustrations are just fantastic. Look at those end pages. And you can tell from the cover just this graphic, bold design, this bright, bright colors. Again, this is a story of, you know, somebody who's not quite what they want, what they're supposed to be. It's a wolf. He doesn't really want to be a wolf. So maybe this one and Keith Among the Pigeons would be a nice pairing for story time. And then last one I have here in this picture book pile is also from Cicada Books, and it is The Inner Child. This is one of those books that I think, you know, adults love picture books. They just don't know it sometimes. This one I think the adults would really like, but I think kids would also really be interested in this. I think they would find it very funny. So each one shows sort of, it shows some adults and they're doing different things, but they always have an inner child. And you see that inner child here. It's, again, both of these books kind of take a familiar phrase and they turn them into a picture book. So that is my picture book pile for you. I hope you enjoyed those books. And if you're looking for more books like this, take a look at the Publisher Spotlight website because they have a ton of awesome books. Just a reminder that books don't always have to be from the big publishers. There's some great ones out there from the little publishers. Thanks. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Bye.